Larry,
What's going on, my brother?
good day, sir. Welcome
You're
to the show. This is Lawrence King with Building Top Agents. I'm here to talk to my guest today, where we do every single week. We're providing value and information to assist realtors in elevating their everyday business. And today I have a very special guest, and this is the catalyst and creator of opportunities, Larry M.F. White. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Oh man, blessed every single day. Just loving what I do and having a lot of fun doing it. That's all.
Man, thank you for joining today.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate this. So basically, tell everyone who is Larry M.F. White and where'd you get the name from? Tell us.
Man, that is such a loaded question. It's almost like when people come and ask me and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, damn, how do I answer that? Right. So I do a ton in the real estate space, right? I've been a top producing agent doing 60, 70 deals a year. I had a team that was doing 300 to 400. Then I got recruited over to a small company at that time called Carrington, got really entrenched in the REO and foreclosure process. And I mean, we used to carry 2,000 to 3,000 listings at a time and use that to build a traditional real estate brokerage. So that was a ton of fun, man. And just learned lessons along this way. And it's funny, like that position there led me to working with one of my largest clients that provided a lot of business to me, which was Zome and Mr. Cooper. And they wanted me to run their network. We were building out a membership program, working with ForSaleByOwner.com at that point in time on how to convert more like for sale by owners into actual listings. And as I was negotiating that contract, like we were going back and forth and I made this wish list, right? I was like, okay, here's the pay. I'll take a lower pay, but I want big bonuses. Like if I hit these goals and this and that, and I want to create my own title. And so we were going back and negotiating. And they're like, okay, you can have your own title. And so that's where like the catalyst and creator of opportunity came up from. I was like, damn, if I can be whatever I want, what do I want to be when I grow up? Right. It was like a Peter Pan type moment. I was like, I don't know this, but it better be something cool. So that's when I was like, that's it. I'm the catalyst and creator of opportunities. I am going to manifest this and create opportunities for anybody that I decide to do business with, that we align with and that we want to do more with. So that's where that title came from.
Okay.
And Larry M.F. White was an alter ego that was created. I'm big into Tony Robbins. I've been going to Tony Robbins since, man, probably 2014 or so. And he goes through this process because you don't always have to be the same person, right? Like you're a different person for your significant other in a business meeting, right? To if you're a parent, if you're a this, if you're a that, you have to have these different personas because being this bull in the china shop isn't going to work well for all of those, right?
Right.
So you almost create these different alter egos based on your environment, depending on what you need at that point in time. And so I was setting some massive goals that were really scary and had to create an alter ego. And that's where Larry motherfucking White came from. Like, who do I call on when it's like, yo, give me the ball, coach. Like, I got this, right? Like, put me in, just give me the ball. I don't need a play. Like, give it to me. I'm in the zone right now. And that's where that came from, right? Like this persona of like, no, we can create whatever we're looking to do. Like, let's get into this. And that was kind of the alter ego. And has, man, stuck around since then.
And it's sticking. It's not changing at all, right?
It's not changing. I do have different sides though, right? Because sometimes that does not align. My hippie ass is walking around barefoot, right? Like in nature and stuff like that. That's not Larry M.F. White, right? Like, but when we talk about the business sides, and I still do a lot of coaching and consulting, helping people do more business, get into the REO market, etc. Like that's when Larry M.F. White comes into play and really just kind of focuses on it. So.
Got it. And you're a father, correct? You have kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I got three beautiful toys. I call them, they're the best toys I've ever had in my life.
So I mean, and basically, how are you juggling being a father and being, a coach, an investor, and being involved with all these different things? I know you're not really practicing, you're not really selling real estate anymore, correct?
Bro, don't judge me. You sound like my wife now. Like, I don't need this coming from you as
Okay.
well. I have a listing in Arizona. I collect 200 to 300 referral checks every single month just because our business structure looks different, right?
Okay.
But it's taken a long time to build that, right?
Okay.
And so when you start talking about, it's not a work-life balance, right? It's a work-life immersion.
Okay.
And when you love what you do, you're okay taking calls on Saturdays after hours. Now, that's the exception and not the rule.
Okay.
Because how do I juggle all of that? Like, I am stringent with my calendar, and if you get time on my calendar or not, because I found if you don't respect your own time, nobody else will.
100%.
Right. And so this is where you have agents that are showing 30, 40 houses at all time. Oh, Larry, I can't take your call. I have to go show this buyer. You're not the right person for me to because we set this time. Right. So one, you didn't respect your time. Now you didn't respect my time. Now, shit has to change on your side in order for us to work together. Because I can already see the patterns in your business that you will never be on this upward growth unless it's for a short period, and then it will come down because you don't respect your schedule enough to do the dollar productive behavior every single day. And when the client calls, guaranteed, if you were prospecting right now between 11 and 12 o'clock each day, and a client was like, hey, can we see this property at 11:30? And you just said, Lawrence, man, I would love to show you. I'm actually in another appointment during that time. Could we do 12 o'clock? They're going to be like, oh man, that would be great. Yep. Thank you so much.
Good point.
Right?
It's great.
But you're not even giving them that option. You're just folding, right? You're just, again, folding out of desperation. So when you respect yourself more and your schedule more, and you know the value that you bring to the table, it is a damn disservice for people not to do business with me. And that's the mantra and the mindset that I go into it with. If you want to go somewhere else that's more available, etc., they're probably more available for a reason, because they don't have the experience, they don't have the pedigree, they don't have the track record of helping agents crush their business plans on a yearly basis. So you have my blessing, right? Go forward and prosper. It's not going to affect me, but it could affect you. So do you want to work with somebody that has the availability, or do you want to work with the best? That's up to you.
Man, fire right there. Fire. So let me ask you this. On the investment side, because I know you're heavy in investment, you've been doing it for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
What are some of what are some of the failures you've had, or some of the hurdles? I would say, I wouldn't say failures, but what are some of the hurdles that you had in real estate investing?
Yeah, not so much failures, right? Just lessons, right? Just lessons oh shit, we're never going to do that again, right? So the first one is who you decide to work with.
Okay.
Right? I see so many partnerships and stuff that run toxic. They're great as long as everything is working perfectly.
Right.
When they go down, and they always go down or they always go sideways, that's when you see people's true colors. And especially when you're talking about money, man, you see people's true nature comes out. So I'm very particular if I invest with somebody, who I invest with. So that's the first one. I've learned a lot of expensive lessons with that that I will not make again. The second one is trying to do everything myself, right? And I have a lot of mentors in the game. And for instance, 2 years ago, I owned 24 homes free and clear in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was going to form some syndications because these cap rates were 20+%. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can't.
Whoa, don't skip over that.
Okay.
You were 20% on the cap rate?
On the cap rate, which is crazy. And investors are taking 4 to 6% cap rates.
Exactly. Well, especially in California, it's 3%.
So,
Tell me more about that.
I was buying homes for $15,000 to $40,000, like single family homes, duplexes, triplexes, even that would rent for $600 to $900 a month. On paper, it looks stellar. I went to some of my mentors, were like, hey, do you want to do this? They're like, no, these were D level, like pretty much like class D type properties, right?
Neighborhoods.
Yeah, they were rougher neighborhoods, right? Financing wasn't available. Yeah, there were some challenges to that.
Right. Are we talking more East Cleveland or West Cleveland?
I would say Southeast Cleveland. Yeah.
Okay.
Southeast Cleveland. So we took the best of all of those and put them into our portfolio.
Okay.
And so, my business partner, who was actually a great business partner, I'm still business partners with him after all the lessons that we learned, which has a lot about him. We realized, like, on paper, it looked good.
Right.
But the quality of tenant that we had was very low. The turnover was way higher than usual. The amount of repairs that we put into the property was higher than usual. It wasn't a bad investment. On paper, we thought we were going to be clipping $15,000, $25,000 a month in cash flow. In reality, it was like $2,000 to $3,000 because we had it was so much more expensive. And then it was taking more of our time to sit down, talk with our property managers every single week. What can we do? What are your suggestions? Blah, 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 blah. So I should have listened to some of my mentors that had went down that path, but we had to learn the lesson ourselves, right? It was kind of like that adolescent teen, and mom and dad are like, don't do that. And you're like, okay, mom, you do it. And you're like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. Right. Like very
that's the best lesson.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We didn't lose money on it. We broke even, made a couple of dollars each month, but we ended up selling those properties for $50,000 to $90,000.
And you bought them for $15K?
15 to 40,000 in there. Yeah. Yeah. So again, it wasn't a bad investment. It just that money could have made us a lot more. So since then, now, I do a lot with syndications now because time is the most valuable thing I have. I can't manage these properties. I can't do this. And so I partnered with people that are way smarter than me, have much bigger diligence teams with accountants and attorneys and this and this and this, right? And so now we took that money, and I have a 20-acre ranch in Fredericksburg, Texas, right? We're starting to build tiny homes and stuff on those, which get a lot higher rates of return on short-term rentals. And I'm passionate about it, right? It's something that I like. And then the others, we probably own 300 plus doors here in the Texas markets with partners like Tom Ferry. He's a part of some of these syndications and stuff that we're a part of that have 5 to 7 year exit strategies, cash flow starting within about 6 to 8 months, major tax depreciation. We're doing cost segregation
up front.
A $27 million project that you depreciate in 3 years. $100,000 investment will get you a negative $70,000 K1. So for those of you guys that don't know what the hell I'm talking about, if you made $100,000 last year as a W-2 employee,
right,
you would have this, and you invested $100,000 into this, you would get a K1 for negative $70,000, which takes your $100,000 income down to $30,000. That's the number that you pay taxes on now.
Right. And disclaimer, we're not tax specialists.
No, I'm not an accountant or anything like that. I've just learned I'm like, oh my God, I can depreciate. I can literally take off what I made. Then we're putting solar on this, right? We're doing new roofs. And now you're getting a 30% tax credit. So on the taxes that you owe on the $30,000, now you're getting tax credits, which are a 1-for-1. So if you owed $1,100, literally, if you had $1,100 in credit, it means zero. Again, I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not a specialist, anything like that. But
Disclaimer.
yeah. Whatever disclaimer is running down there, like highlight that one. But
Right.
it's been cool. And now, like
Right.
a lot of the agents that I work with, right, I introduce them to this. Look, let's make more money. Let's keep more money. Let's build wealth, right? Like that's how we create like clients and friends and business partners for life, is by all of us doing well together.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, I hope everybody's listening. That's some good heat right there. Just going to be reposted, so I appreciate that. So that's basically some of your successes, because I mean, you're now, well, the 20-acre ranch I know is going to be huge when
Yeah.
you start building those tiny homes. And I've been a big fan of Airbnb and getting into the tiny home space. 20 acres, that is out of this world. How many homes do you want to build on that 20 acres? Because you have
So,
one property on that property.
yeah, so right now we have a main house, we have a guest house, we just bought an Airstream that we remodeled.
Okay.
We have 3 units on it right now. It's booked out. I think it was only not booked out 1 weekend last year. We have a 15-year note, so our payments are higher, and we're still breaking even or cash flowing every single month. So we're just chipping away at that mortgage and stuff right now. And so that's why we're looking at these other opportunities. And here's the cool part. There's tiny home builders out there that will partner with you, right? They're like, oh, you have the land? Look, we have the tiny home, right?
Right.
What if you do water, sewer, septic, right? Like we'll put this on, and they'll do, man, I've seen it as low as a 15% revenue share. But upwards, I'd say average is around 35%, which
35.
yeah. But if you don't have to come up $100,000, it just depends where you're at. Like short term, if you don't have the funds, that's great. It starts building cash flow and stuff like that. A lot of people are like, oh, can I just buy this, because they see how lucrative it is? But it has to be a win-win for everybody. So if you go down that, like, it's better if you could buy it outright, and like now you have something paying off that investment and not partnering with anybody. But if you don't have the funds to do that, like then looking at the right partnerships and agreements would be huge to get you up and running.
That's good info. I didn't know a lot of these tiny homes will partner. I just went and visited Boxable, the facility, not too long ago, and they're like 3 years out from for you getting a tiny home.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Did you do any investment with them when they raised?
No, my business partner that actually owns the ranch with me in Fredericksburg, we went down that rabbit hole
Okay.
quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay, cool. So let me ask you this, and I'm being respectful of your time. Thank you for getting on. You've gave us a ton of knowledge just in these brief seconds, or minutes, I should say. Evaluating rental properties. What do you consider when you're evaluating a rental property? Like, what do you go through? What's going through your head? I mean, is your partner mainly the one evaluating, or are you walking these properties? Tell us, what do you normally do?
Yeah, so I've kind of I've gotten more into kind of the syndications, the group investments and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of single family residents anymore. But when I did, I mean, I've had a lot in the past. Like first I would look at area, right? Because, had those 24 homes in Cleveland, had we bought in an A or B neighborhood, we would have been buying homes from 150 to 2.
Right.
And when we turned around to sell them, we would be selling for 275 to 3. Right. So you almost get what you pay for. Right. So location, like, real estate is not hard. Location. Right. Like, do people want to live there? Like, why do they want to live there? Finding where Starbucks and Whole Foods are being built are huge indicators, because these companies do massive research before they do, like on the demographic, on the median income, on all of these different things. Right. So they're investing in areas that they see future with.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to do everything yourself. Look at others. Once you find those opportunities, right? Like the general rule, and this isn't a hard rule or anything, is about 1%, right? So if you spent $200,000 on a home, you would ideally love to see at least $2,000 a month in rent coming back in. If you can't hit those numbers, right? Anything over that is a bonus. Anything under that, you better have a better idea, right? Is it unrestricted land? Can you do more units? Can you do short-term rentals, right? Like maybe you're in downtown Houston where there's the Rockets, right? The Texans, the Astros, there's all these sporting events. People are always traveling in. We have the FIFA World Cup and stuff like that, right? Like, does it have restrictions? Could you do short-term Airbnb? And instead of making $2,000 or $3,000 a month from one client, could you make $400 or $500 a night?
Yeah.
Right. And do something like that. Now you only have to rent that out 6 days out of the month. You don't even have to have that rented every weekend at that point in time. So, but here's the thing. What I look at is different from everybody else. So as I teach agents to build their real estate business, it starts with what your goal is, because Lawrence King's vision of his future is different than Larry MF White's, right? Like, and so once you have your goals in mind, now you create the action plans on what it's going to take to get there. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing, right? Oh, that sounds good. Like, you created your plan. You created the plan to get to your goal. Follow it. Success is not sexy. It's consistent.
Right.
Like doing it every single day and not getting distracted by all of the other BS that's going around with politics, with this, with drama and stuff like that. Follow your plan. That's why you made it.
That's good, man. So as far as, so you've been in the real estate game for how long?
I think going on 17 years now.
17 years. So a lot has changed in that 17 years, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Technology, how has that impacted, like, the way you look at, potential investments that you're going into, like these syndications? How has that impacted, like your thought process on going in on a syndication?
Yeah, well, information is a lot more readily available now.
Right.
Like, yeah, it used to be that real estate agents were the keeper of the stone, right? Like, if you wanted to buy real estate, you had to go through, because there wasn't an MLS, there wasn't an internet. They had this book in each office, and right, it was very like, oh, you had all the data, which made you very valuable. The information is out there, and technology is out there, right? Like, there's so many calculators and stuff online, but so the information one is a game changer. Right. I was just evaluating a flip this morning in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've never been to Tulsa, Oklahoma. What the hell do I know about Tulsa, Oklahoma? I can find out the school districts, the neighborhood, what things are selling for, right? I can do all of this stuff literally from 8 hours away, right? I don't need to be there to do that. The other part is technology. You start talking about like Chat GPT and things like that. Man, I'm using it daily to respond to my emails, to evaluate, to give me cooking recipes, right? Like, when it's like, Ariana's like, hey, you got dinner tonight. I'm like, cool. I go through, I put into Chat GPT, like, hey, I have chicken, I have garlic, I have this, like, make me a recipe. Right? Ariana's coming home and being like, what smells so good? I'm like, yeah, babe, I cooked. I got this. I've never cooked before in my life. I just followed, like, I had a goal. I created a plan, and then I executed the plan. Every aspect of my life.
Yeah, that Chat GPT has got me going down rabbit holes on rabbit holes. So I have to set a time blocking on that type of stuff right there. So let me ask you this. As a realtor, obviously you're in our office, you're a coach in our office, a mentor in our office, a huge advocate for helping us all grow and showing us how.
Yeah.
What is some advice you will offer, like a real estate agent just getting in the game of investing? Like, they're just going, hey, I've been selling other people's properties for a long time, but now I want to invest. What is some advice you would give them?
You should have started yesterday.
Okay.
Right? Because most agents, they make everybody else so much money, and they're like, they don't have anything for themselves. So you are on the ground floor. Like, people are coming to you for your expertise. Like
Right.
figure out how you can get involved with that. And if you don't have the cash flow and funds and stuff like that, like this is where you have to think outside of the box, right? Like there was times where I didn't have the funds, but it was a good deal. So I would go in with sweat equity. Hey, look, I'll manage this project. I found this deal. Here's the spread. I'll manage it. I'll manage the contractors, etc. Like build me into this for 15, for 20%. Like that's a hell of a lot better than a 2.5 or 3% commission.
100%.
So you start building that way. Now you take that, you put that aside, and now you can come in as a partner when you find the next one. Don't just give this huge spread up to somebody else. Like, what about yourself? The happier that you are, the happier that you can create everybody, you can make everybody else.
Awesome.
So like use your resources. Like people are leaning on you to be this expert. Like, well, be the expert. And I believe in practicing what you preach. How can you be like, oh, Lawrence, you should buy this. And you're like, well, how much do you own of that? I'm like, oh, I don't, but I think it would be a good idea. Right. Like,
right.
It doesn't work that way for me. Like I want people that have skin in the game that are using it. It doesn't have to be like, it could be time. It could be equity. It could be sweat equity. There's a lot of different ways for people to have skin in the game.
Yeah. And I'm big on even like for property managers, when I'm interviewing property managers, I want to make sure the property managers own rental properties, right? Or at least own one or two and have they understand my pain points, right?
Yeah.
Because they've experienced it. So it's kind of the same situation there. Larry, dude, this is jam-packed with information. I got to go back and rewatch this thing. Where can people find you at on social media?
So on social media, all like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, at Larry MF White is my tagline on everything. All one word, at Larry MF White. Feel free to message me, send a shout out, like let me know however I can add value to you, right? Like let's figure out how we can all do more together, kind of think outside of the box. And again, creating financial freedom is like my passion at this point in time. So people can spend this short life doing the things that they actually want. Like that's huge for me.
Awesome, man. And then one last question, I'm gonna catch you, and I appreciate this time. The real estate investing book that you would recommend to any agent just getting started in a business?
Oh man, like my first one was Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like it gives you a foundational piece that you can really kind of dig into. Like that's kind of like the holy grail of where I started.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate this, Larry. I got your link tree right down there at the bottom. If anybody wants to reach out to Larry MF White, remember time is valuable for this man, and it should be for you. Thank you again. I appreciate this. Have a good week.
Love you, brother. Have a great day.
All right.